Okay, so um, you shared this Reddit thread with us and wanted to like take a deep dive into it. And honestly, I can see why. It's
Yeah.
one of those situations that just grabs you, makes you think like, wow, what would I do? You know, 42-year-old guy engaged to a 30-year-old woman, and it just sounds like their relationship is like straight out of a soap opera.
Right.
Like, it's a lot.
What's really striking about this case is just the sheer number of red flags that just like pop up right from the get-go.
Yeah,
Like a rushed engagement, accusations of cheating, verbal abuse, even an arrest.
it's crazy.
This isn't just a couple spat. This is like a textbook example of a relationship spiraling out of control.
And right off the bat, the original poster, the guy posting on Reddit, he paints a picture of his fiancée as someone with, and I quote, severe mood swings and anger issues.
Mm-hmm.
He even mentions that she was evaluated for bipolar 2 disorder,
Oh,
but stopped taking her medication.
that detail about her mental health is so crucial, isn't it? It's a reminder that mental illness can absolutely impact behavior and relationships, but it's never an excuse for abusive actions.
Right.
And it makes you wonder how much of what he's experiencing is tied to her untreated condition.
And things get really intense fast.
Yeah.
He talks about her saying things like, I don't love you anymore, I'm leaving, and this is going to be transactional from now on. Then he drops the bombshell. She's 6 to 7 weeks pregnant.
Oh, wow. The pregnancy adds a whole other layer of complexity to an already volatile situation.
Definitely.
The OP even admits to suggesting they terminate the pregnancy so they can work on their relationship, which understandably didn't go over well with his fiance.
Understatement of the century.
Yeah.
The arguments keep escalating, and he describes this horrifying incident where she destroys his property
No, no.
and even physically assaults him. I mean, talk about a nightmare scenario.
And this incident isn't a one-off either. The police were called multiple times, and in one instance, she was arrested for domestic violence, battery, and vandalism after fleeing the scene with her son from a previous relationship.
Jeez.
So we're seeing a pattern of escalation here, which is incredibly concerning.
It's like a train wreck you can't look away from.
Yeah.
And of course, Reddit blew up.
Of course.
There are hundreds of comments from people weighing in with advice, personal stories, and some pretty dark humor, trying to make sense of this chaos.
It's fascinating how online forums become these spaces for collective problem solving and emotional support.
Yeah.
The top comment on this thread is a straight up leave her message,
Right.
emphasizing how dangerous her behavior is.
Yeah, a lot of the comments have that run for the hills energy, right?
Right.
Some even use humor to highlight how ridiculous it is for the guy to think things will magically get better.
And a point I find particularly insightful is the emphasis on documentation.
Oh, yeah.
Several commenters are urging him to keep records of everything. Texts, emails, photos of damage, as potential evidence if legal battles arise, especially concerning custody.
Oh, and speaking of bombshells, this is where it gets even crazier.
Mm.
The original poster reveals in the comments that his fiancée has a history of infidelity
Oh, wow.
and has a son from a previous relationship. And get this, he had no idea about any of this until after she got pregnant.
Whoa. That's a whole lot to unpack.
Yeah.
He's essentially finding out all these huge, life-altering things in the midst of this already chaotic situation. It really makes you question his judgment, his self-esteem, why he's still engaged.
Right, and to add insult to injury, after getting bailed out of jail by her mother, the fiancé demands that he reimburses her mother for the bail and attorney fees, plus a wedding dress her mom had already bought.
This demand speaks volumes about her lack of accountability. It's all about control and manipulation. Instead of taking responsibility for her actions, she's trying to leverage the situation to gain financial benefits.
It's mind-boggling. The original poster is obviously overwhelmed and confused, wanting to do the right thing, especially with the baby on the way. But he's clearly in a dangerous and unhealthy situation.
Absolutely. And what's particularly striking is how many commenters are urging him to consider the future of the child who will be born into this volatile environment. One commenter even puts it bluntly, abort the relationship, save the child.
Ooh, that's heavy. But it highlights a growing awareness of the lasting impact that growing up in an abusive household can have on a child.
And another interesting element that emerges in the comments is the perspective of female Redditors. Several women chime in, saying they would tell a female friend to get out immediately if they described a partner behaving this way.
It's a powerful reminder that abuse is abuse, regardless of gender. The Reddit community seems united in urging this guy to prioritize his safety and well-being. And this actually brings up an important question that we'll delve deeper into in the next part. What are the ethical considerations when witnessing potential abuse or harm online? How do we offer support while respecting boundaries?
That's a great question, and it's something we'll definitely unpack further. But for now, if you're finding this deep dive into the complexities of relationships as captivating as we are, be sure to subscribe to Shauna Palaj, our YouTube channel, where we break down even more fascinating stories and offer unique perspectives on the human experience.
And while you're at it, if you haven't already, subscribe to our podcast, Voices of the Soul, available on all the major platforms to catch more thought-provoking conversations like this one. We'll be right back with part 2, where we'll explore what happens next in this Reddit saga and dive deeper into the ethical dilemmas it presents.
Welcome back to our deep dive into this Reddit relationship drama. If you're just joining us, we're dissecting a situation that has the Ask Men Advice subreddit completely captivated a 42-year-old man desperately seeking guidance on his turbulent relationship with his 30-year-old fiancé.
Last time we left off, the original poster was bombarded with advice from Redditors, urging him to prioritize his safety, document everything, and consider the well-being of his fiancé's son. Things were looking pretty bleak for him and, honestly, for everyone involved.
Yeah, it felt like the whole situation was on the verge of exploding, and everyone on Reddit was holding their breath, wondering what the OP would do next. A lot of people were skeptical that he'd actually leave, even with all the red flags and the overwhelming consensus that this relationship was toxic.
You know what's wild? Remember how the fiancé was demanding money for her legal fees?
Oh, yeah.
Well, she didn't stop there.
Really?
In a completely unexpected turn of events, she threatened legal action against the OP if he didn't pay up.
Oh, wow. This is where we see a classic power dynamic shift, often found in abusive relationships. Despite being the one who initiated the violence, she tries to portray herself as the victim.
Right.
It's a manipulation tactic, using the legal system to maintain control and pressure the OP even further.
The audacity is just mind-blowing.
Yeah,
The commenters were in disbelief.
I bet.
They couldn't fathom how she could even attempt such a thing.
Absolutely.
Right.
Many pointed out that he was under no obligation to pay for his abuser's legal expenses, especially since she was the one who instigated the violence. Some even suggested he could sue her for damages related to the assault and property destruction.
Talk about adding insult to injury.
Yeah.
It's a prime example of how abusers distort reality and exploit systems to maintain their grip on the situation. But what did the original poster do in response to this threat?
Well, here's where things get a little murky.
Oh, no.
The OP doesn't explicitly say whether he caved to her demands or stood his ground. He actually goes silent for a while, leaving the entire Reddit community hanging.
Ugh, the suspense is killing me. Did he finally break free or crumble under pressure?
Get ready, because in the final part of our deep dive, we'll reveal what happened next and discuss the valuable lessons we can all learn from this cautionary tale.
Hold on to your seats, folks. We're about to uncover the resolution to this Reddit saga. And before we dive into the final chapter, we wanted to take a moment to express our gratitude to our amazing listeners. You're the reason we do what we do, and we love connecting with you through these deep dives.
We appreciate you taking the time to listen and engage with us. If you're enjoying this exploration into the complexities of relationships and the power of online communities, we invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Shauna Palaj, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the final installment.
And for more captivating deep dives into the human experience, subscribe to our podcast, Voices of the Soul, available on all your favorite platforms. We're back with the grand finale after a quick break. Welcome back to the final chapter of our deep dive into this wild Reddit relationship story. Remember that 42-year-old man entangled with his volatile 30-year-old fiancé?
Oh, yeah.
Well, we're about to find out what happened after she hit him with that legal threat. The anticipation is real.
It's incredible how this Reddit thread resonated with so many people.
Yeah.
It became more than just a guy asking for advice. It was like a raw, unfiltered glimpse into the complexities of abuse, mental health, and those gray areas where right and wrong get blurred.
Last time, we left off on a major cliffhanger.
Right?
Would he cave to the pressure or finally break free from this toxic relationship?
Yeah.
Drum roll, please. He chose freedom.
Yes.
In a follow-up comment, the OP revealed that he consulted a lawyer and is taking steps to protect himself, both legally and emotionally.
That decision was a huge turning point in the narrative.
For sure.
The Reddit community, who had been on the edge of their seats this whole time, erupted in cheers and messages of support. It was like everyone was collectively holding their breath, waiting for him to prioritize his own well-being.
It's amazing how invested people got in this story. It just shows that even in the anonymity of the internet, Human connection and empathy can really shine through.
It really does.
But let's be real, walking away from any relationship, especially one with a pregnancy involved, is never easy. What specific steps did he take to disentangle himself from this mess?
He did exactly what so many Redditors advised.
Okay.
He documented everything. The abuse, the threats, the property damage.
Wow.
This documentation became crucial evidence as he navigated the legal complexities of ending the engagement and setting boundaries with his ex-fiancée. He also started therapy to process the trauma and rebuild his self-esteem.
It sounds like he took the advice to heart and is focusing on healing and protecting himself. Did he say anything about the baby?
Yes, he expressed his intention to be a responsible father, but recognized that the best way to provide a stable and loving environment for the child was to maintain a safe distance from his ex-fiancée. He plans to pursue legal custody arrangements that prioritize the child's well-being above all else.
It sounds like a long and difficult road ahead, but at least he's finally moving in the right direction.
Yeah.
This whole story has been an emotional roller coaster, hasn't it?
It really has. But beyond the drama and the can't look away aspect, this Reddit thread offers valuable lessons about relationships, recognizing red flags, and remembering that we always have a choice.
It's a powerful reminder that even in the most challenging situations, we have the power to choose safety, to seek support, and ultimately to create a better future for ourselves.
What I also find fascinating is how the Reddit community became such a pivotal part of this man's journey.
Yeah.
Their advice, while sometimes blunt and even humorous, provided a much-needed safety net, validating his experiences and offering guidance. It speaks to the potential of online communities to foster connection and support when people need it most.
It's like a modern-day Greek chorus, weighing in on the drama and offering their collective wisdom. And sometimes a little tough love from internet strangers is exactly what we need to hear.
One final thought for you, our listener. This story highlights the importance of trusting your instincts. If something feels off, if you constantly question your self-worth or feel unsafe, it's time to step back and reassess the situation. You deserve to be in a relationship that brings joy, security, and mutual respect, never fear or obligation.
And remember, you are not alone. There are resources available both online and in your community to support you through challenging times. If you relate to anything in this story, please reach out for help.
If you enjoyed this deep dive into the messy reality of relationships and the power of online communities, we encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Shauna Pelage, for more thought-provoking discussions and real-life stories.
And don't forget to subscribe to our podcast, Voices of the Soul, for more in-depth explorations of the human experience. Thank you for joining us on this wild ride. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and most importantly, stay true to yourself.